Welcome back, my DIY nomads. We're back again, another episode. One thing I wanted to mention is you might see progress of the van sort of going backwards and forwards a bit. What I'm planning to do is I'm trying to bring out videos, so like this is the more electrical side of the van that we're converting, and then I'm also going to do like more of like a plumbing / water based side of the van. So you might see us sort of going backwards and forwards in time, but that's so that we can keep more of the same information in each video, so it gets less confusing when we're going backwards and forwards between different things. Anyway, first job for today's list is to mount the solar panels. What I've done is I've taken some brackets. They were originally these pretty chunky boys, and what I did was I cut them down to remove the top part of that, widened up the holes, drilled some extra wider holes here to take some of these self-drilling, self-tapping screws with these squishable rubber washers, and we're going to go up to the roof. We're going to mount the solar panel. I'm also going to mount them using a little bit of Sikaflex EBT Plus, just for that added security, but also to help get into the hole in the steel of the roof rack and potentially prevent any sort of form of rust. I'm a stickler for trying to prevent rust. Firstly, can we just appreciate how flipping badass this solar panel looks? Secondly, yeah, I've mounted the brackets onto the sides now, measured them up so they fit onto the roof rack bars. We've got 2 self-drilling, self-tapping screws going in at each bracket, so that's 12 screws so far. We're then going to use a further 2 to 3 on each bracket, so there's no way this thing's going anywhere. And boom, the panel is up here. I'm tooled up and I'm ready to start fitting this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-drill holes and then bolt in these screws. I know that they are self-drilling as well, but I thought just so I can ensure that they go down the absolute center of the holes, I'll pre-drill them first with a smaller drill bit, and then also that will help them along anyway. Right, solar panel is mounted on the roof. Now we've got the 2 cables, the male and the female, the positive and the negative, coming off the solar panel on the roof. Basically, we now need to connect these up to this connector cable and then bring them into the van. Basically, you just get a 10-meter length, which is so much more cable than we actually need. But it's always useful to have this backup cable lying around the workshop. Anyway, it usually comes 1 piece of wire with these at each end. So whatever you do, if you're going to connect these up, remember to cut the cable first, because otherwise you're just basically short-circuiting out the solar panel. So what I've done is I've cut this cable. I basically found the center of the cable, cut it, taped it so it's not going to short-circuit out, because as soon as these connectors are connected, these are now 2 live wires. Well, not 2 live, one's positive and one's negative, but they are live. Once it's connected, I now then need to get the cables into the van. So what I'm going to do is I've got the little junction box that takes the cables from outside to inside the van. I need to drill a hole, grommet the hole so that the cables don't rub against the bare metal and cut, and then stick down that box, and then I'll have the cables inside, which I probably won't immediately put into the MPPT charger. I'll probably keep them taped up. Okay, guys, sorry I didn't film it, but the hole is in. And I know what some of you are going to be saying, like, why are you using a black paint on a white van? But it doesn't matter, because I've got a little black junction box to go over it anyway, and you're never going to see it. Also, while we're here, got the cables all zip tied to the frame here. Need to just trim off the excess. Okay, we're back. Pretty sure the paint's dry, so here we go. whack this grommet boy in. Oh, dreamy. Dreamy, dreamy. Right, so that in theory, yeah, that's not going anywhere. And then these cables can run through there, well, run through the holes in the box, then through there.
Key fault now, saying just absolutely incredible. Gracie, 62-year-old white female, remembering when a part out was still up in the active in various parts of the world, could never
Box is in, and I've used this bit of ply just to wedge it down so it won't go anywhere and it won't like budge while it's setting. The solar panel is mounted, the cables are also mounted, they're coming through into the van, the box is now drying, these are all tied up at the floor here, so really we are done in regards to this part of the solar install. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the water side of things, so we're going to swap videos here and you'll see me in another day. Right, we're going to crack on with a bit more of the electronics. I've spent a little bit of time organising them and laying them out on a plywood board. My idea is that I'll have everything that I need. My idea is that everything electronic will be mounted basically to this board except for the battery, and this will be mounted, if you're looking into the garage, I guess at the sort of the back wall of the garage, so easy access, very easy to like fix stuff, change stuff and get to the circuit breakers. I also am going to basically space this piece of wood off of the wall with like probably by, you know, a couple of centimeters. On the sort of, I guess, more DC side of things, we've got the positive cable that will come from the battery. I'm going to put a fuse for that 100 amp fuse here that this cable will run through. Then we've also got the negative sort of technically coming from the battery, and it will go through this shunt here going to the multiplus. I just quickly shortened the solar cables, the solar panel cables, because we didn't need all that excess just lying around in the back of the van here. Now, I feel like I need to just warn people about something that's obviously quite important, but something that it slips people's mind occasionally, and it can be pretty disastrous. Whatever you do, when you cut, let's say you've like tied the cables together like this, and you've like worked out how long you want the cables to be, and you're like, okay, I'm going to cut them to be that long. Please make sure that you cut each cable individually. Don't just cut straight through both of them with some pliers like that, because what you'll do is you'll create a short in the pliers between the two cables. And so remember, if you're going to cut the cables, cut one at a time. So now one of the last jobs one of the last holes that I need to cut in the van is to mount the 240 volt hookup. I'm going to run the cable out of the consumer unit and just below this lip here, and then try and take it out of the van there. And the useful thing is, because of where the water inlet pipe is on that side, I have a really good reference point for measuring to find out if I take the hole through there, will it be okay? Right, well, we didn't have the right hole saw, so I had to use a little Dremel with a metal cutting disc. Anyway, I've cut it through, and you might be able to see in there I've got the hole going through, and then I've actually added a bit of conduit, which I've also Sikaflexed in place so that the Arctic Blue cable can go through there, no rubbing, no worries. I've coated the sort of raw steel edge. I've cleaned up around the outside as well, so let's get this last piece on, because it's about to start raining, and I'd rather get this done before it starts raining.